please.
What's going on, Reject Nation? Greg and John here. What's going on, Reject Nation? I'm not used to doing it when we're both here.
I know, you got it, man.
Yeah,
you got this,
yeah.
John. I believe in you.
Anyway, how's it going, guys? We have a report here circling the interwebs today. Take 4. There are reports circling around that Marvel has a plan for a new Disney Plus series centered around the character of Wolverine. And
I love Wolverine.
I love Wolverine too, but I'll only accept one person in the role. And naturally, with any Wolverine story, there are also rumors about who might be reprising the role or who might be taking up the mantle for the first time. Compiled a few different sources here, but there's some pretty interesting developments about this, and if they are true, it's pretty exciting. So the first part of this story comes from that #show.com. We're gonna be dealing with all the most reputable sources today, but they've broken some things in the past, and their report here says we can exclusively share that Marvel is in the early development on a series for Disney Plus. This series would be an anthology based on the character of Wolverine. They go on to say Wolverine's an immortal and has a multitude of stories to tell. Each season will focus on a particular story within the Wolverine mythos, like American Horror Story, where there's a season-long plot and then it resets. Only in this, you'll have the center of Wolverine, which seems like a pretty exciting concept to me. No, you don't like that?
I thought it would be like each episode would be like a different point in his life. But so they would want to do like seasons of television with the Wolverine character, have it be like American Horror Story where it's like one specific chapter or era. Basically that montage that we saw in X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Yes, but expanded.
But instead of a montage, it's a season per one of those clips.
That's what I'm gathering here, yeah. And I mean, honestly, when I first read this, I read it as, oh, it's gonna be a different one every episode, which got me excited. But the American Horror Story approach, I think, works as well when you think of just how many, like, graphic novels comprised of many issues there are. Like, there's so many Wolverine stories that I get where they're coming from with that.
I guess it depends on how many episodes per season they'd want to do.
Absolutely, 25.
25
episodes. We're going right back to
so I'm like, maybe you only need like 5 episodes a season if this is what you're doing. You know, it'd be cool to watch him go from how he got his powers to like, would there be a season dedicated to before he even got adamantium? And then you would go into Old Man Logan by the end. Like, there's a version of this that sounds awesome. It's like, it's just a major commitment.
Dude, hold on to your hat because they've got at least a couple rumored story details.
Really?
Oh,
like
yeah.
what?
Oh, dude. Well, Marvel and Kevin Feige have been
like
hard at
oh, sorry.
Weapon X, man. Weapon X. They've been hard at work on an approach to the mutants and X-Men characters, and their sources are saying basically that Wolverine has been one of the hardest characters for them to kind of process into the new world because of the host of stories there are to tell. And he says Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige are confident that an anthology series can safely explore Wolverine's vast history without affecting any role that he would have in any other X-Men film. So, you know, mobility. But basically they went on to say that while in early in development, Marvel is aiming to adapt the famous Weapon X story arc for the first season, basically getting into the whole origin of Wolverine, the experiments, the adamantium, and all that stuff.
Boring.
So
I think what you got to do is your first season should just be Logan. Logan, no Wolverine, and discovering his powers. It's got to be like a slow burn.
Yeah.
It's got to be like first season Iron Fist. Like, where is this going? Can you hurry up and get to the point we know he's going to be Wolverine?
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be the way to do it.
He's not even called Logan yet. He's just Howlett.
He's just James.
Yeah, Jimmy.
It's got to be like a Better Call Saul slow burn.
Yeah. So by like
go
the
from James Howlett to
watch, that would be, I would be there for that.
Oh, we would
series.
be there. Most people
I would watch that slow burn all day.
And then it should end with him like getting involved with William Stryker, Weapon X. Although I don't think, is it William Stryker in the comics? My memory is not serving me correctly. Yeah,
not at least in the refresher I was doing earlier today. Not in the Weapon X comics anyhow. There are some other stories that they've said they were interested in adapting, namely Marvel Studios. This is from Geekosity. President Kevin Feige enjoyed Wolverine's pirate adventures as Pat Patch in Madripoor, and those may be adapted in one of the upcoming Wolverine properties, which, I mean, they've just introduced Madripoor in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. From what I understand, this is not among the most beloved Wolverine portrayals. However, that sounds like fun, and that kind of appeals to the sort of wacky variety I keep hoping they'll kind of embrace with all this multiverse.
Yeah, I want Charlton Copley to play Wolverine.
Oh my god, that's a great call.
He could do all this weird wackiness.
Yeah, dude.
And slip in and out of it all.
Think of him in Hardcore Henry, but if he just looked like the character from Elysium, and there you go. Yeah, and the Patch series has more of like an Indiana Jones meets Casablanca kind of swashbuckling vibe. Also, we, you know, obviously can't talk about Wolverine without talking about casting, and the rumor is right now, at least, that Hugh Jackman wants to see scripts for whatever they're planning so that he can, you know, really decide if he wants to give the role up or not. You know, there've been talk about Deadpool 3 and Doctor Strange 2 for his appearances or whatever, but it seems like they're also not ruling out the possibility that he could just reprise the role entirely. And I mean, he's been trepidatious about that. Some of these articles go on to say that his main worry is that Wolverine died in Logan, and resurrecting him from his mortal coil would cheapen James Mangold's masterpiece. And then it says apparently Kevin Feige has reassured him that this wasn't the same Wolverine. Instead, he would be a Logan from a multiverse, and that the continuity would be different. Which, I mean, in a technical way, I feel like would solve a problem, but I feel like just with audience association, it's still kind of gonna intertwine with Logan and kind of mess with that.
It depends. It depends. I think a lot will have to come down to aesthetic, because I get where you're going with that. Where it could work, though, is we usually saw Hugh Jackman as Wolverine with a very specific look until Logan, where he was all grayed out, super old.
Didn't have his crazy hair.
Yeah. So I'm saying, if you go back to the younger version of Logan, like, Hugh Jackman ages gracefully. So like if you go back to how he looked, say, in like X-Men Days of Future Past, with that style, like the traditional Wolverine look.
Yeah.
I think we could buy it that he's from a different universe.
Yeah,
it would look weird if it was Old Man Logan again.
Yeah,
that's when it would. I think it would not really work. But, you know, if they like mess it up, it could put a little stank in it if they mess it up. Because think about what happened with Ralph Bohner. That's not Quicksilver. Nope. That's not Peter Maximoff. That's not him. Now, whenever I see Quicksilver in the X-Men movies, even if I watch the clip, my mind goes to Ralph Bohner now. And like what this role will eventually turn into in the association now, and how they botched it. So I think that could be the worry, is like if they botch this. But I don't think they would do that if you're going to successfully be able to get Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine. I don't think they would mess that up.
I mean, if it's good enough to get him on board in the first place, and then, you know, once you've got him, you're gonna make that project as good as it can. You're gonna pour your time and resources into trying to assure that, at very least. But there's also been some rumors beyond Hugh Jackman. I honestly don't exactly expect him to come back for anything more than Deadpool 3. But anyway, there have been rumors circulating that Karl Urban is one of the actors being considered by Marvel Studios to take on the role of James Howlett, aka Logan, aka Wolverine in the MCU. Goes on to state that the studio's first choice for the role is Taron Egerton, but it looks like they might not be able to get him, and because of that, Karl Urban is one of their top choices. Obviously, Karl Urban has already been Scourge in Thor Ragnarok, but he died. You know, who cares? he can take up the role.
I think it's just too big of a, I think Scourge, he wasn't like the main character, but I think he was one of the faces of Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, he was one of the surprising breakout characters that was a lot more fun and memorable than you would have thought.
Whereas with like Civil War, you had the actress who plays Mariah and Luke Cage, but no one even knows the character's name in Civil War.
Totally.
And so, and this is like the movie franchises we're talking. Even still, like they're connecting. This is MCU. This would be too. I don't think they would get Karl Urban.
Yeah, I mean, it would be kind of a distraction, and also too with the roles, he would be perfect. Although at the same time, I feel like the roles we see him play, especially now, and especially in the age of Billy Butcher, I know he could do it. And it's like, it would be fun to see, but I wouldn't exactly be like, oh man, I wonder what he's gonna do, you know?
Yeah, especially what Wolverine's become. It's like, it's fun when you watch like a Hugh Jackman interview. You're like, this guy's a total Broadway theater, super nice, energetically vulnerable, expressive, emotional guy. And then he plays Wolverine, which is like bravado and serious and closed off rage.
And I mean, Karl Urban's fun too, but, and funny enough, enough,
Oliver plays so many of these kinds of guys.
yeah, that's true. And funny enough, Anthony Starr, who plays Homelander on The Boys, has also expressed his interest in perhaps taking up the role, which I think could be cool. But Charlton Copley, man, nothing beats that for me.
Charlton Copley, that's the one that I want.
Yeah.
And I think, too, if Hugh Jackman is in Deadpool 3, I think he's going to play Hugh Jackman. I think they'll make a bit out of, like, we wanted Wolverine this whole time. I don't think he would.
It's just Hugh.
I don't think he would reprise his Wolverine role for it. I'm pretty sure he would just be Deadpool 3. It would just be Hugh Jackman.
My hope is that he's just Hugh Jackman in Deadpool 3, but he is Wolverine in Multiverse of Madness. For just, like, one of those, like, you know, Days of Future Past style cameos. Or not, one of those First Class style cameos.
Thank God you corrected yourself.
I
that cost
know.
us in the Schmodown one time.
I know. And then in Apocalypse, they do the origin story, and then the
The X-Wing.
The X-Wing. Task Force X. X gonna give it to you. Ballistic X versus Sever. X-Men United. Weapon X.
We're ready to wrap this up now?
We're ready to wrap this up. Guys, who do you think should play Wolverine? Are you excited about the possibility of an anthology series? Leave us your thoughts. And as always, remember to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell for whenever the next video's out. Love you guys. Check us out on Patreon.